I've been going through a really rough time, and the way that I've been sort of navigating that within myself recently is just by making excuses in my own head, telling myself that it's going to get better, and sort of trying to look at the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's what's been helping us sort of be able to push myself out of what I'm in right now. I've even started to become slightly religious as a lifelong atheist. I'm not like super dedicated or anything like that. I'm not religious in the sense that I read the Bible or the Quran or anything. But what I mean by that is that I have started to think that there's something out there. So maybe you'd want to call it spirituality or something like that. I wouldn't call it religion, but I guess that's just where my brain goes. I've always associated religion or atheist, and I think I'm understanding now that there's a lot more than that, because to me, I'm going through the hardest time of my life, but it's also pushing me to become the best person I've ever been. Um, and I'm happy about that, and I really am happy, and I'm grateful that I'm able to sort of take this experience I'm going through and make it feel a lot better. And the thing is, I needed a break from everything that was going on, so I paid £300 for a flight there and back to Egypt, and I've just got back from that yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. So I've been to work and stuff today, and I've been reflecting on how Egypt went, and I've realised, man, the tunnel that I'm in, it's not that bad. It really is not that bad. I've seen the way that people live over there, and I don't mean any disrespect by this. I mean the opposite, to be completely honest with you. They're so positive when you compare what they're actually living in right now compared to what I sort of live in and what I say that I want and stuff like this. When I look at that, the way they are and how positive they were towards me, and the stories I've had from like only being there for a week and the experiences, and I realised that even something like paying a 40 pence tip on the Uber app, that's a decent thing for them, which 40 pence in Britain is worth essentially nothing. You could find that on the floor. And if you're willing to give them like a £4 tip or anything like that, you're literally you're 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 essentially changing their week. It's like a big moment for them. And I've always known that money was different in different places. I wasn't that stupid. I knew that certain places earn a lot less. But I think seeing it up close for myself and like actually being with those people and not just sort of calling it a number, if that makes sense, and actually being there and seeing the people that are living in that little money, it's made me come back, and it's made me think like, fuck man, like why am I being so ungrateful for what I actually have? So I'm living at my grandma's at the minute, and without my grandma I'd be fucked. I really would be. I'd currently be homeless. So thank you so much to my grandma. I love you so much, man. Thank you. Um, but it's also just made me realise another thing, that I've got a goal, I've got a passion, and I'm not going to let embarrassment hold me back from pursuing it anymore, because this is the first time ever that I've really felt it, and I feel willing to commit my life to this. I've got the idea of traveling, mixing like my idea of travel with my idea of content creation. And if you're seeing this, hopefully the videos went well and I've posted it somewhere. And of course, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I don't care about the views, I don't care if I don't get one. It would suck if I really put a lot of work into it and I didn't get any recognition. I don't mean like 10,000 like views or anything like that. Even like 1,000 would be really nice. But I'm not looking at it at the same point where I used to look at content creation and be like, yeah, I want this to hit a million, I want this to be the viral one. I don't care if it's the viral one. I really like the idea of this video, and it's the first time I can truly say that. I really like the idea of what I'm doing, and I think it's going to be fucking really cool no matter what. No matter if I make it a video or not, I still would do this idea. I think it's awesome. So it's something I'm quite excited about, and that's also pushing me to sort of keep going right now. But I want to sort of give a little tour of my living situation, and it's not to get sympathy, if that makes sense, but it's to kind of explain that I'm actually, even though I've got a minimal setup at the minute, I can make it work. And that's also something I discovered from like backpacking to across the world to Egypt. I think I've just not been resourceful enough recently. So I've got the bed, And then over here is just where I'm keeping my clothes at the minute. So I've got like pyjamas, underpants, socks, like work clothes there in the middle, and then some other stuff and other stuff. And I have more clothes downstairs, but this is what I'm dealing with. This is my workstation, and then under here I've got an ergonomical mouse. So what I do is I use that mouse on this screen, and I've also got another screen set up here because I do like to have two screens, and I already have them. So at the minute I'm in the middle of selling everything I have, which isn't in this room. This is like the stuff which I want to keep, if that makes sense. And the plan is, and I sit on the floor, I don't actually sit where I'm sitting now, I sit on the floor on this mat, and then I use this one for my back so I don't have back pain. But I'm actually really grateful for this setup because even though it's minimal, it works. I know where everything is, I can easily grab it, and I can just get stuff done, which again, it's quite a nice feeling.